Catherine pulled into her parents' driveway in Scottsdale with her husband Adam beside her, his gentle hand resting on her knee. She stared at the long line of cars, more than 40, parked across the street in neat rows. A catering van was open in the driveway, workers unloading trays of food in a hurry. Through the living room window, she spotted new patio furniture, teak wood with navy cushions and a bright umbrella. Near the side gate, a photographer set up lighting equipment. Catherine did the math quietly, each calculation tightening something inside her chest. She estimated that catering alone cost at least $30 per plate, maybe more with the fancy setup she saw. The patio furniture looked like $1,500 easily. The photographer's rate was at least $500. The open bar being arranged in the backyard looked like another $600. Almost $4,000, she whispered to herself. Just last Tuesday, she had wired her parents $3,400 for what her father called an urgent property tax crisis. She texted him, "This party looks expensive. Property tax was urgent, remember?" The message stayed unread. "You ready?" Adam asked quietly, watching the concern settle on her face. "Not really," Catherine murmured. "But let's go." They walked toward the front door. Before they reached the steps, it swung open. Chloe, her younger sister, stood there holding a half-empty champagne flute, already tipsy and smiling too wide. "Catherine, didn't think you'd show." Corporate Queen finally took time off. Catherine forced a polite smile. "Happy birthday, Chloe." But Chloe tilted her head and added loudly, "Did you bring that camera lens I asked for? The one I texted you about?" Catherine shook her head. Chloe turned to her friend and scoffed dramatically. "See, Miss Six Figures can't spend $1,800 for family." Before Catherine could reply, their mother appeared, wiping her hands on an apron. "Catherine, Adam, finally," she said without offering hugs or warmth. "The turkey is nearly ready, but the gravy needs help. You're good at fixing things." Catherine held up the gift card politely. "Where should we put this?" Her mother waved dismissively. "Anywhere. Maybe the counter. But check the oven thermometer first." Adam squeezed Catherine's hand, already sensing the familiar role she played here. Catherine nodded but walked past her mother, trying to breathe through the tension. The backyard was alive with string lights, loud music, and guests laughing around new patio furniture arranged neatly around a fire pit she had never seen before. A bartender mixed drinks at a portable station while the photographer snapped photos of Chloe posing dramatically. Catherine scanned everything, every detail confirming the evidence building in her head. Then she saw an invoice on the bar table showing a $650 payment charged to a card she recognized. Her father's card, the same one she had been paying every month for 3 years. Across the patio, Catherine spotted her father standing with Aunt Carol and Uncle Ben, his arm wrapped proudly around Chloe's shoulders. Carol was smiling widely. "Evan, Chloe's photography portfolio is stunning. I saw it on Instagram. Such talent." Her father beamed as if those words fed his soul. "We're blessed," he said. "Not every parent gets an artist for a child." Catherine paused at the edge of the patio. She waited for him to mention her, any small acknowledgement of her work, but he didn't. Instead, he spoke for another 5 minutes straight about Chloe's 10,000 followers. Catherine thought about her own 30th birthday 3 years earlier when her family had taken her to Olive Garden and split the bill. She had paid $47 for her portion. That same year, Chloe's 25th birthday was held at a vineyard with a DJ, 80 guests, and an open bar. Catherine found out 6 months later that she had unknowingly funded it. Her father had called claiming the roof needed emergency repairs. The roof had been fine. The vineyard party had taken place in March. She watched Chloe now taking selfies with her cake, each pose practiced and perfect. Uncle Ben eventually walked over to her. "Catherine, it's been too long. How's Adobe treating you?" he asked warmly. "Good," she replied. "I'm a senior engineer now." His eyebrows rose in surprise. "Senior? That's incredible. Congratulations." He paused. "Your father mentioned that." Catherine shook her head slightly. No, not really. Ben looked back at her father, who was laughing as Chloe showed him a picture on her phone. Ha! He murmured softly. The two of them watched as Chloe tossed her hair back and posed again while guests gathered around her like she was the star of a movie. Chloe eventually wandered toward Catherine, drink in hand, swaying with a practiced grace. Real talk, she said. I need that lens for a client shoot Monday. Catherine raised an eyebrow. Client? Chloe shrugged. Potential client. Music venue downtown wants promo shots, but I need the 85 to look professional. Catherine asked. Are they paying you? Chloe scoffed. It's spec work. If they like it, they'll hire me for the full campaign. Catherine sighed quietly. So no. Chloe's face twisted. God, you're such a corporate robot. Not everything is about money. Catherine whispered. Some of us pay rent. Before the argument could build, Adam appeared at Catherine's side. Dinner's being served, he said gently, sensing the rising tension. The guests moved toward the long outdoor table arranged with candles and navy napkins. Catherine and Adam were seated at the far end, the place where people put those they didn't want to notice. Meanwhile, Chloe sat in the center with their parents beside her like royalty. Their father tapped his champagne glass with a knife, commanding the entire backyard. Conversations stopped instantly. Guests watched as he lifted his glass and began a speech that made Catherine's stomach tighten. Everyone, her father began proudly, thank you for coming to celebrate my daughter Chloe's 28th birthday. Applause rose quickly, most of it from Chloe's friends. He continued, 28 years ago, Linda and I were blessed with a child who sees the world differently. Chloe doesn't chase money or status. She chases beauty, art, meaning, things that truly matter. More applause. Catherine kept her expression calm, but inside she felt a familiar sting. Her father added, not everyone understands the artist's path. It requires sacrifice from Chloe and from those who love her enough to support her dream. Catherine glanced at the table, calculating quietly again. The failed gallery 3 years ago, the $54,000 in mortgage support, the car payments for Chloe's Jeep, the sudden emergencies. She knew the total, almost $200,000. She also remembered her own financial support from them. $1,500 for textbooks in freshman year, which she had repaid. Uncle Ben suddenly shouted from the middle table, 3 glasses deep. What about Catherine? She's here too. Say something about your other daughter. An awkward silence rippled across the guests. Her father's smile tightened instantly. Catherine, he said loudly, come up and say a few words about your sister. Catherine froze. She knew the trap immediately. 40 guests were watching. Phones were already out. Cameras lifted like this moment was entertainment. She stood slowly, walked to the head table and faced Chloe. Happy birthday, she said calmly. I hope 28 is good to you. She turned to walk back, but her father's hand clamped onto her shoulder. Hang on, he said, turning her to face the guests. While you're up here, let's talk about Catherine's role in this family. Her father kept a tight grip on her shoulder as he spoke like he was presenting a product. Catherine is our practical daughter. The reliable one. The one who gets things done. Guests chuckled awkwardly while Catherine stood frozen. She keeps the lights on, he joked, and people laughed again, confused but obedient. Catherine felt her face go cold, a stillness settling inside her. She leaned closer and whispered, we need to talk inside. Her father brushed her off. Later. Catherine tried again. It's about the property tax payment I made Tuesday. The uneasy laughter around the tables faded. Some guests leaned forward, sensing drama. Her father snapped. Not now. Catherine lifted her voice slightly. Or the mortgage payment I've covered since 2021. Chloe stood up quickly. Seriously. It's my birthday. Their mother rushed from her seat. Catherine, please. This isn't appropriate. Catherine kept her tone steady. When is appropriate, Mom? When you text me at midnight with another emergency. Phones were definitely recording now. Little red lights pointed directly at her family. Her father's voice rose sharply. Inside. Now. He grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the house. Chloe and their mother followed closely, whispering angrily. Once the kitchen door slammed behind them, her father spun around and pointed a finger at her chest. "How dare you embarrass me in front of everyone?" he barked. Catherine stared at him, stunned. "Embarrass you? You just announced that my purpose is to support Chloe's lifestyle." Her father's eyes hardened. "Because that is your purpose." Catherine blinked slowly. "Say that again." He stepped closer, his breath heavy with scotch. "You exist to make the money. She exists to make the art." Catherine felt something inside her shift, a quiet click like a lock opening. Her father continued confidently. "Chloe is sensitive. She needs support. Financial backing, time to grow. Don't. You're practical. You handle things. That's how this family works." Catherine pulled out her phone and opened her notes app. "What are you doing?" Chloe asked. "Documenting this conversation," Catherine replied. Her mother tried to soften the moment. "We only asked for help because that's what family does." Catherine looked up. "And how much help have you given me?" Silence answered her question. Her father's face turned purple with anger. "Listen to me, Catherine. You exist to pay her dreams. That's the system. And if you don't like the system," he pointed toward the front door. "There's the door." Chloe crossed her arms. "Honestly, yeah. If you're going to throw money in our faces every time we ask for help, then go." Catherine stared at all three of them, her mother trembling, her father flushed with anger, her sister smirking with entitlement. She realized this moment was the hinge, the turning point, the first real choice she'd ever been offered in this family. Catherine opened her banking app, her fingers moving with calm precision. "What are you doing?" her mother whispered. "Accepting your terms." Tap tap tap. "Mortgage assistance cancelled." Her father's eyes widened. "You're bluffing." Catherine turned her phone to show him the confirmation. "Car payment for Chloe's Jeep cancelled." Chloe gasped. "What the heck, Catherine?" Tap tap tap. "Removing myself from the joint grocery account. Done." Her mother let out a sharp cry. Tap tap tap. "Chloe's phone line. Cancelled effective Monday." Catherine walked to the door. "You said if I don't like it, I can leave. So I'm leaving." Her father shouted behind her. "You will regret this." But Catherine didn't look back. She stepped outside and shut the door hard enough for the sound to echo across the backyard. Guests were watching through windows, their phones recording the moment. She walked straight to the car where Adam waited with the engine running. As they drove away, she saw her family through the kitchen window. Her father yelling, her mother crying, Chloe pacing in circles. Catherine rested her head against the seat. She didn't feel guilt. She didn't feel fear. She felt something she hadn't felt in years. Lightness. The next morning, Catherine woke to her phone vibrating non-stop on the nightstand. It buzzed again and again like an angry alarm she didn't want to answer. When she finally opened her eyes, she saw 26 missed calls. Adam was already awake, scrolling through his own phone. "Your aunt texted me," he said softly. She said, "Tell Catherine to call her mother. Family emergency." Catherine sighed. "There's no emergency." She opened her messages and watched the panic unfold in real time. Every text carried a different tone: anger, guilt, fear, yet all pulled from the same playbook she had known for years. Her father's first message arrived at 11:23 p.m. "Answer your phone now." Her mother texted at 11:47 p.m. "Please, Catherine. You're scaring me." Chloe wrote at 12:02 a.m. "Psycho. You ruined everything." More messages followed. "The mortgage is due. We don't have it. Fix this." Then again at 3:41 a.m. "We checked the bank. You actually cancelled it. Call me." Catherine set her phone down, breathing out slowly. Adam handed her a warm cup of coffee. "Are you sure about this?" he asked gently. She nodded. I've tracked every payment for 5 years. I knew this day would come. Catherine opened her laptop and pulled up a file she had created in 2019. Family financial tracking discs. Every transfer, every fake emergency, every just this once request was there. $54,000 in monthly mortgage support. $13,000 in car payments for Chloe. $100,000 for the failed gallery. $12,000 in emergencies. She exported the file to a PDF titled Read Family Receipts 2019 to 2024. Her father called again. She declined. Her mother called. Declined. Chloe texted, "At least let me explain." Catherine blocked her number. She blocked her email. She blocked her Instagram. Peace settled in her chest. Later that morning, Catherine opened the family group chat. 52 members filled with aunts, uncles, cousins, and relatives she barely remembered. The messages were pouring in. Her mother posted dramatically at 9:23 a.m. "Please pray for our family. We're facing a terrible financial crisis." Aunt Carol immediately replied, "Oh no, what happened?" Her mother dodged the question. "I'd rather not discuss it publicly, but we may lose our home." Catherine almost laughed. Theatrics were her mother's specialty. Minutes later, her mother posted again, "For those asking, Catherine cut us off with no warning. We're in danger of foreclosure." Cousin Jessica responded, "Wait. Catherine was paying your mortgage." But her mother went silent. Then Chloe added, "She ruined my birthday. Threw a tantrum and cancelled all our bills out of spite." Relatives responded with confusion. "This doesn't make sense. Why was Catherine paying your bills? Is this true?" Catherine watched it all without responding. Adam leaned over her shoulder and whispered, "You should defend yourself." But Catherine shook her head. "Not yet. Let them dig the hole deeper." 10 minutes later, Uncle Ben wrote in the chat, "Evan, how much was Catherine paying each month?" Her father responded coldly, "That's private family business." Uncle Ben replied, "You made it public by posting in a group of 52 people. So how much?" There was no answer. The silence spoke louder than any confession. Uncle Ben sent another message. "I'll take that silence as a number you're not proud of." Catherine felt a small rush of vindication. Her phone buzzed again, this time a private message from Uncle Ben. "Call me when you're ready. Don't let them guilt you." Catherine typed back, "Thank you. I'll call Monday." It felt good to have one family member who saw her clearly. On Sunday morning, her mother called, crying so loudly that Catherine had to lower the volume. "Catherine, please," she sobbed. "We need to talk face to face." Catherine answered calmly, "I'm listening now." Her mother begged, "Come over." Catherine replied, "No." Then her father snatched the phone. His voice was controlled, the practiced tone he used when he wanted something. "You made your point. We understand you feel unappreciated," he said. "We're willing to make changes." Catherine waited silently. More appreciation. More acknowledgement. "We can do better," he added. "In exchange, reconsider the mortgage payments." Catherine said nothing at first. Her father continued, "We can call it a loan if that makes you comfortable. We'll sign paperwork. Make it official. Interest-free, of course." Catherine felt her jaw tighten. "So, not a loan. Just a renamed gift you want me to feel better about." Her father snapped, "Why are you being so difficult?" Catherine breathed slowly. "Dad, do you remember what you said Friday?" He hesitated. "I said a lot of things," Catherine replied. "You said I exist to pay Chloe's dreams." Silence filled the line. 10 seconds passed. Her father said quietly, "I was angry." "You meant it," Catherine replied softly. "You just never expected me to believe you." Her mother grabbed the phone again, her voice shaking. "We'll lose the house. Your childhood home, Catherine." Catherine answered, "You took a second mortgage to open Chloe's gallery. That was your decision, not mine." Her mother cried louder. "How can you be so cruel?" Catherine answered calmly, "I gave you $184,000 in 5 years. I was never cruel. I was a bank." And banks close accounts when customers don't pay. Then she ended the call. Adam squeezed her hand gently. By Sunday afternoon, Catherine thought the drama might quiet down. Then Adam walked over holding his phone. "You need to see this," he said. Catherine looked and felt her stomach drop. A GoFundMe page had been created. The title read, "Help my family avoid homelessness after financial abuse." The picture showed Chloe and her parents sitting sadly on a couch, lit with professional lighting. The description said Catherine abandoned them after they supported her education and her dreams. They begged strangers for $50,000. Catherine exhaled slowly. "Okay," she said. "They want public. I'll give them public." Catherine opened her laptop, logged into the GoFundMe page, and clicked "Leave a comment." Her fingers moved calmly across the keyboard. "This is Catherine Reed," she typed. "This six-figure sister mentioned here." Then she listed the facts: how she paid her own college, how she contributed $184,000 over 5 years, how the gallery failed from mismanagement, and how her father told her she existed to pay Chloe's dreams. She ended with, "I am not abandoning anyone. I am simply done being exploited. Chloe, you are 28. Get a job." Then she pressed post. Within 10 minutes, her comment received dozens of upvotes. More comments flooded the page, demanding explanations from her parents and from Chloe. Someone wrote, "Why are you asking strangers for money when your daughter already gave you more than this whole campaign?" Another wrote, "This feels manipulative." At 4:03 p.m., the entire GoFundMe campaign vanished. Deleted. Erased as if it never existed. But Catherine had screenshots saved neatly into a folder called Family Lies. She closed her laptop and leaned back. Adam watched her silently. "You okay?" he asked. Catherine nodded once. "I'm finally done." Monday morning, Catherine received a call from Uncle Ben. "I talked to your father yesterday," he said. "They're drowning." Catherine leaned against her desk. "They've been drowning for years," she replied. Uncle Ben sighed. "He asked me for money yesterday. Straight up asked for $5,000. I told him no. Told him to sell the house and downsize like normal people." Catherine felt a heaviness settle in her chest. "I didn't want this for them." Uncle Ben's voice softened. "You did everything you could. More than anyone should. Their choices led them here, not yours." For the next few days, the messages came steadily. Texts from her parents, emails from distant relatives, subtle hints from cousins. Most of them carried the same tone. Help them. Do something. Fix this. Catherine ignored them all. She focused on work, on her health, on the peace she had earned. Then one afternoon, her phone buzzed with a notification from Experian. New credit inquiry detected. The applicant's name: Catherine Reed. The card: Chase Sapphire. Her stomach dropped. She hadn't applied for a credit card. The application was made from an IP address in Scottsdale. She knew instantly what had happened. She called Adam immediately. "They did it," she whispered, shaking. "They tried to open a credit card in my name." Adam's voice tightened. "You need to report this." Catherine hesitated. "It's my dad." Adam's reply was steady. "It's still identity theft. If you don't report it, you're responsible for whatever they charge. They will bankrupt you." Catherine felt tears rise, not from sadness, but from the finality of it all. She called the Scottsdale Police non-emergency line and filed the report. Case number was sent to her email. She downloaded the report and attached it to a new message. She wrote to her father, subject line: "Fraud alert, police case number attached." She kept the message short. "Someone attempted to open a credit card in my name today from Scottsdale. I filed a police report. If another account is opened, I will provide the suspect's identity and press charges. Do not test me." Then she hit send. 5 minutes later, her phone rang, her father. She let it go to voicemail. Later in her car she listened. Her father's voice cracked as he sobbed. "Catherine, we're desperate. We have no food. I'm sorry about the card. Please. Just $100. Catherine cried quietly in her car, not for their situation, but for the father she once adored. For the version of him who pushed her on swings and carried her on his shoulders. That man was gone long before this moment. She wiped her face and whispered, I can't save you anymore. She sent no money. She sent no reply. She went home and sat on the couch beside Adam, leaning her head on his shoulder. It hurts, she whispered. Adam wrapped an arm around her. Hurting doesn't mean you're wrong, he said gently. Sometimes pain is the price of freedom. 2 days later, Catherine met her Aunt Valerie at a Starbucks in Phoenix. Valerie slid a manila envelope across the table. Your parents are being audited, she said. Catherine's breath caught. Valerie continued. Your father wrote off personal expenses from the gallery as business losses. Trip, dinners, Chloe's car lease. They owe the IRS $52,000. Catherine closed her eyes slowly. Valerie added, they're already 3 months behind on the mortgage. Foreclosure notice went up last week. Catherine whispered, why tell me? Valerie reached out. So you don't blame yourself when everything falls apart. Valerie squeezed her hand. You gave them $184,000. You kept them afloat. You did more than any child should. The rest is their burden, not yours. Catherine felt tears rising but didn't speak. Valerie continued softly. They lied to me too. Said you were rich and selfish. Said you refused to help out of spite. I believed them until I saw the numbers. Catherine opened the envelope and saw the IRS notices, the foreclosure letter, the store lien. She stared at the papers for a long time. So this is the end, she whispered. 6 months later, Catherine sat beside Adam on the back patio of their new home in Tempe. String lights glowed softly above them as the lemon tree rustled in the warm breeze. Her parents had moved to a small apartment, her father working at a hardware store, her mother at a retail shop. Chloe worked at the Apple store with 2 roommates. They were surviving just as she knew they would. Adam handed her a glass of wine and asked, Any regrets? Catherine looked at their home, her peace, her life. Some sadness, she said. But no regrets. I finally chose myself.